Ahoy First Mates, and welcome to our first ever virtual summit, the Boomvang, which is exclusive to you, our First Mates. We have an exciting lineup of speakers from Virgin Voyages leadership to our trusted partners at Bain Capital, and Vic Whitehouse from our Virgin family. First, I want to introduce you to our CEO, Tom McAlpin.
Well, thank you, Sabrina, and good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first ever virtual summit. It's a great pleasure to be with you all here today, and I would say that on behalf of the entire Virgin Voyages team, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to join us. We understand now more than ever that your time is extremely precious, and your support is overwhelmingly appreciated by all of us. And I can absolutely say with confidence that our gratitude is not just from Virgin Voyages, but on behalf of our incredible industry as a whole. We obviously recognize the current challenges facing cruise travel, but we know that they are both momentous and unprecedented beyond anything that any of us have ever seen in our careers. You know, when we dreamt up Virgin Voyages more than 7 years ago, never in our imagination could we have anticipated the challenges that we are all facing today. But despite all of this, what I have come to, this resilience is driven by what I think is a shared passion for exploring the world through romantic ocean travel and by a focused effort on creating the quintessential experience for our sailors. I know what we're experiencing now will obviously help us in the future. Hopefully it will be a catalyst for change to continue to improve that sailing experience for our guests and for our crew. We know that there are still a lot of obstacles out there, but we also know that the future is bright. All of you in the travel advisor community are our guiding light, and we understand that it's our responsibility to offer a platform where you can be successful by providing generous incentives for you. I know that this is something that you not only deserve, but is a requirement for keeping your business thriving. You are obviously our valued partners and are key to what I would say is restoring the confidence in sailing again. So we need your help in that. Your team here at Virgin Voyages wants to underscore the importance of our working together to continue to show to you that we are committed to your success, not only now, but far into the future. We have a very exciting program ahead of you today, including a series of breakout sessions hosted by some of our amazing team members. So today, we'll host you from aboard the beautiful Scarlet Lady from the bridge on board the ship. We'll dive into our robust voyage well plan for sailing with confidence in the future. We'll walk through our new and improved first mate offerings. We'll explore our destinations and itineraries and much, much more as we go through this. So I want to assure you that Scarlet Lady is ready to sail when the time is right, and we look forward to working with all of you to bring this marvelous experience of setting sail the Virgin Way to all of your future travelers. So thank you again for joining us. To kick things off, it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Ryan Cotton. Ryan is Managing Director of Bain Capital and a valued member of the Virgin family. I've worked very closely with Ryan over the past 6.5 years. He's an avid cruiser. He loves the industry and has been a valuable thought partner as, frankly, we have built this business together. So kudos and thank you to Ryan for all of his help along the way. He'll give you an interesting perspective of both personally and professionally on the cruise industry and share a little bit more about his love for the Virgin brand as well. So with that, take it away, Ryan. I hope it's sunny. I hope it's a bit cooler there in Boston than it is here in South Florida.
Thanks so much, Tom, and good morning. Good morning to all of you, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. Unfortunately, there are thunderstorms in Boston today, so I'm holed up here in a windowless room, wishing I was in South Florida with you. If you give me a few minutes today, I want to try and share a few perspectives on the cruise industry, on the journey with Virgin Voyages, how we got to where we're at, and why we remain extremely confident in the long-term vision for the business we're building together. As I do so, I'll share some data that you may well have seen on the cruise industry, and I'll aim to share some data you have not seen and some perspectives you may not have had as to why I and investors like me are such big fans of the space and willing to support it through these stormy seas. First, a couple of words about me. I don't want to talk my own book. I lead the consumer business of Bain Capital around the world. And put simply, my job is to build, grow, and create great companies, to leave businesses better than I found them, and to create something that I could be proud of in the long run. And we've had good success doing that, from building Michael's stores to Canada Goose as a brand. We're deep in the process of turning around a company called Blue Nile, which if you're in the market for jewelry, I highly suggest. And have had a number of success in the past with Warner Music Group, Apple Leisure Group, which if you've ever booked a Secrets or a Dreams resort, you know well. Simply, the goal is to build great businesses, and nowhere is that more true than Virgin Voyages. As Tom said, that's been a 6.5-year journey of building this business. And we've been really sort of integral and in lockstep with the management team at every step in the way. You've seen a lot of glossy marketing photos and great shots that our team has put out in the market. I thought I'd share a little bit of the journey with you from my own camera lens as I lived it and as I saw it. I promise these photos won't be as good as the ones that we give to you in collateral, but they're honest and they're real. So we flip forward one. It's a little bit of an insight into our journey, Bain Capital, in partnership with the team. We've been present every step of the way, from the ideation and the concept that Tom brought us 6.5 years ago, the designing of the ship on the left, the cutting of the steel, my two partners, Adam Nebasar and Steve Paliuka with me. Steve, occasionally a bit sartorially challenged, the red pants may not have been a but you can't doubt his enthusiasm for Virgin and his commitment to the brand. We managed every step of the shipbuilding process. They even let me fake drive the ship at one point in the yard there in the middle photo. I think that's as close as they'll ever come to letting me drive the ship. And through the experience design, through thinking about how our uniforms work with Richard in the UK, to thinking about food and delivery and how we re-energize restaurants, all the way through the casino experience, where there's a photo there of our lovely CEO striking it rich on a slot machine before we actually turned on the payout feature. So alas, Tom's attempts to cash in were unsuccessful. But this, I think, hopefully gives you a little bit of an insight into the journey and the process. And what I will tell you is I have learned a lot about Virgin in this journey and their unique way to approaching consumer experiences. One of the most special things about the Virgin process is taking a consumer journey and a consumer experience and breaking it up into all of the touch points you'll have through the journey: the booking experience, the arrival experience, the first day, the orientation, the entertainment, the food, the ports, the excursions, the departure experience, the post-voyage service, thinking about all those touch points in the life of the consumer, and then re-engineering all of them to solve for pain points and make the experience a little bit better. You're not trying to be transformational by redesigning a cruise. The product works unbelievably well. People like cruises. People know what a cruise is, and they have a certain set of expectations when they get on a ship that we need to deliver. But that doesn't mean we have to deliver against those expectations in conventional ways. And really, the 6.5-year journey we've been on together as a team has been about taking each one of those points in the journey and redesigning and rethinking it, making it more painless, making it more thoughtful, making it more fun, and trying to find ways to upset the experience without upsetting the customer. And that was a long and tireless journey. We had many sleepless nights, many late night trips to Italy to meet with the yard, many team meetings. Some of us fared well through those, some of us did not. If we flip forward a slide, I will share some bad receipts I have that both my partner, Steve Paliuka, and our erstwhile CEO, Tom McAlpin, caught sleeping on the job. These are long days. These are long hours. And we can forgive the odd nap here and then, but like I said, the camera sees it all. The camera also saw, if we flip one more slide, our ship, when we took delivery on Valentine's Day this year from Genoa, sailed up to Dover and Liverpool and through a series of inaugural events there that we are extremely proud of. It is a gorgeous ship. I had the pleasure of spending 5 days on it. As Tom said, I'm a big fan of cruising myself. And it was love at first sight. The entertainment is extraordinary and unlike anything I've ever seen at sea. The food, the beverages, again, fundamentally re-engineered and redesigned to be an a la carte product, catering to your individual tastes. And last, and in some ways, in an Instagram world, perhaps most important, the ship is just absolutely beautiful, filled with epic spaces, Instagrammable moments, experiences you can't have anywhere else in the world. And you can see me there in that middle panel, standing at the entry to the Manor, our nightclub, which Tom has mandated that we build the single best nightclub in the world. And I think he achieved that ambition. So remarkable spaces, remarkable experiences, and a product we're all extremely, extremely proud to be a part of. Let's take a step back for a second, though, and talk about why we started on this journey in the very beginning. Why cruises? Why Bain Capital was keen to allocate capital into the cruise industry. And to do that, you have to look over the very long term of the cruise industry. So if we flip one forward, what we see is the long-term, basically volume and price chart for the cruise industry. And I apologize, these charts get a little bit wonky and a little bit numeric, but that's how we numeric folks sometimes look at the world. But if you look over what is here, effectively 2.5 decades of history, this is an industry that grows. It grows its volume almost each and every year in a very measured and predictable way that results in long-term yield expansion. The bottom is the long-term yield or price environment for the industry, which tracks about a 1% to 2% annual price trend line. Yes, it has moments of shock. Yes, the global financial crisis. Yes, the 9/11 were tough moments in the history of the industry. But two things are very interesting when you study those periods. One is it is not as radical a correction as it is in most travel and leisure industries. Why? This is a very disciplined business. Operators are not irrational. They don't flood the market with discounts. They don't tank the economics of the system for everyone. They compress yields a little bit. They restrict capacity a little bit. The industry absorbs the shock and moves through it. And so what you see is both in the dot-com or in the 9/11 crisis as well in the global financial crisis, peak to trough yields of 13 to 17% down. That's very different than airfares where you'd find 40% off and things like that. And return to normalcy in 3 to 4 years. Through some pretty enormous absorbs it. It takes it a little bit in rate, but not too much because it's a very sort of well-regulated, well-governed, and well-managed industry, and it recovers very quickly. And that kind of resilience, that kind of stability is what fundamentally attracts investment capital like ours. To put a wonky, and I admit too wonky, a finance lens on it for a second, if we flip to the next slide, you can see how we think about industry attractiveness, about how to allocate capital and where are good industries versus bad industries to do it. Think for a second about an analogy that you walk into a casino to make a bet. At some level, investing is making bets. And there are two bets that are in front of you. One that has a relatively high payout with a relatively low chance you lose, and one that has a low payout with a high chance you lose. Pretty easy to decide which bet you're going to take. High payout, low risk wins every time. And what this chart tries to do is measure both the payoff and the risk. The y-axis, top to bottom, is the payoff. What's the average return for investing in that industry? The x-axis is the risk. How often do you lose that bet? Measured here in standard deviation of return. And as you plot a whole bunch of industries, heavy industries where you could go allocate capital, one of the things that pops out is that the return for the risk in cruising, the pay you get as an investor for investing in a cruise line relative to the volatility or risk that you're expected to assume, is extraordinarily attractive. It is one of the 3 or 4 most attractive asset intensive industries in the world because the product is significantly differentiated, unlike, say, an airline or a container ship or a generic intercity hotel. There are real barriers to entry in the industry that prohibit people from irrationally competing and dumping supply into the industry. And the industry is relatively well coordinated. They behave in a rational way that maximizes system profits for everyone, from you all the way through to the cruise line operator. And that's a really good feature of the industry. It's a feature that keeps us coming back with more capital. It's a feature that's allowed Norwegian, Carnival, and Royal to raise real money through this period. And it's a feature that means this industry will be around for a very long time with institutional support. It is a very attractive industry. Of course, you already know that. So if we flip one more slide, we can get out of the financial wonkiness and we can start talking about cruises and customers. And why do our customers love us? Again, this is a stable business in part because customers so viscerally love this product. Here's some of the initial work we did when we started to think about building this business 6.5 years ago. We went out and surveyed the consumer landscape pretty intensely to understand consumer psychology, to understand the way in which consumers make decisions and the needs that they had in the marketplace. You all know all too well that there's effectively 2 types of people in the world, cruisers and non-cruisers. Cruisers love their cruises. It is something like 60 to 65% of their vacation wallet. It is their go-to vacation of choice and dominates all other options. Non-cruisers, well, they're non-cruisers. It's not their go-to call. It's not their first choice, but their cruisers love their product. They love it in so much, in fact, that over half of them take more than 1 cruise a year. And a large number of the population is incredibly intense in their consumption of cruises. That is a good starting place, both to build a business as well as to build an industry. You are looking for a loyal, dedicated, repeat customer base, and this industry surely has it. If you skip one slide forward, we can rip into this customer base just a little bit more. The left chart is a little bit complicated, but think about it as a map of all of the demand for vacation product in the world. Segmented here by cruisers, people who have been on a cruise in the last 5 years and expect to go on one in the next 5 years. Potential cruisers, people who say, I like everything about a cruise. I like the concept of a cruise. You could sell me on one, but I've not yet been on one. To cruising skeptics, people who say, I'd rather you not try and sell me on a cruise. It's just not for me. The interesting thing is 70% of the market is open to cruising, while only about 30 to 35% of the market is currently participating in cruise. It means there is a huge segment of people, as you all know very well, who are out there interested, researching, thinking, asking, looking for a product that fits their needs, but haven't yet found the product that drives them to convert. And if you cut that group, or all these groups, by age, which is the gray boxes as you move up and down the chart, what you find is that that group of potential cruisers is distinctively younger than the heavy cruise segment. And in fact, that's a bit of a consequence of the way the industry has built itself. It grew up with a legacy base of cruisers who have a set of expectations: a seated dinner at a fixed time, a Broadway show in the evening, ports that are 6 in the morning until 4 p.m. Very rigid expectations designed to serve a customer segment who has grown up with the industry. Now, over time, the industry's done remarkable things to broaden that appeal. They've added attractions for kids. They've added flexible dining to attract millennials. They've changed the product to try and broaden that appeal, and they've done a decent job of it. But they have left a lot of the under 45, under 50, young at heart crowd on the sidelines, where it's still just not the product that they're looking for. We think that Virgin is built for them. Both the half the current cruiser population who is a little bit underserved in the current market, as well as this potential group of cruisers who are very interested and looking for something that speaks to them. We think we've built that. We think we've built it because we have in Virgin an amazing brand that the customer already knows and understands. And one of the things we went and asked is free associate with our brand, with other brands. Tell us what words come to mind. And one of the things you notice really quickly is when you ask about other brands in the industry, you get a bit of a sea of sameness. You get conflicting words, and you get a wide dispersion of adjectives. It's loud, it's quiet, it's boring, it's too busy, it's luxurious, it's basic. You get all of those about the mass brands in the industry. And why? Because they are all of those things. Some of their ships are basic. Some of their ships are luxurious. Some of their ships are loud. Some of their ships are quiet. Some of the itineraries are party itineraries. Some of the itineraries are destination itineraries. And they need you to make sense of that market for them. They need you to help guide them through that selection process. The good news is when you ask them about Virgin, they do know what it is. They do have a very clear mental image. It is hip, it's cool, it's exciting, it's adventurous, it's luxurious, it's unique, it's modern. These are very strong adjectives the consumer already associates with our brand. And so when they talk about taking a vacation, mixing cruises, something that 70% of the population is intrinsically interested in and finds to be a compelling product to begin with this set of adjectives, the ability to access that product in an innovative, luxurious, modern, cool, adventurous way, we think that's the magic formula for unlocking the market. If we flip one slide further, you can see that the consumer agrees with us. Let me wait for the lag. Can we move one forward? Yep, perfect. So these are 3 different ways we tried to ask that customer, would you convert? Would you be interested in Virgin? And is this a product that does actually speak to you and meets your needs? On the left-hand side, we went out to those 3 segments in the market, cruisers, likely cruisers, and skeptics, and said, would you be interested in cruising with Virgin, taking a Virgin cruise? 23% of current cruisers said, you bet, very interested. Now, understandable that it's not higher. Like I said, there is a large portion of the market that's well-served, that likes the product that exists today, and has their needs met by that product. But 23% of the market is open for business, is interested and enticed by what we provide, and feels like there may be a better option for them. More interestingly, 28% of likely cruisers, the potential people who have not converted yet, are interested in the Virgin brand. And so we pull even more into a growth strategy in the market by attracting these marginal customers, people who have traditionally said it's not for me, but are more open than the average customer to a Virgin vacation. And lastly, 8% of the market, people who said you would never get me on a cruise ship, please don't even ask me to get on a cruise ship, are interested in taking a cruise with Virgin. Because when you ask them, are you interested in getting on a cruise, their associations and connotations with that word turn them off. But when you attached Virgin to that word, it changed their thinking. It changed their perspective on the product, and they became open and available for cruising. We think that's really powerful. The second thing we did in the middle is go run a market simulation. We asked people to trade off variables. We asked people to make purchase decisions. We served them hypothetical cruises they could buy. We asked them to tell us what they would do. And that allowed us to model the market, both as it was, but also as it would be with Virgin, theoretically. And what we found was that Virgin, at an enormous price point, you can see here the price, which is not a real number, it's indexed to 100. But at an enormous price point, Virgin pulled 12 points of share in the market. The gray bar that sits beneath us is Disney, the highest priced product in the market right now. And so even at a 10% price premium to Disney, An enormous number, 12% of cruising demand said that they would buy the Virgin product at a 10% premium to Disney. Clearly, that's not how we're pricing our product. We want to drive trial, adoption. We want people to figure out just how great our product is. So we're pricing a little bit more in line with other new ships at other mass brands. But there is huge interest. And that interest, I would say, interestingly pulls from every brand on this page. It pulls from Celebrity, it pulls from Norwegian, it pulls from Royal, it pulls from the high end of Carnival, and it pulls from the 30% of Disney passengers who don't have kids, but are looking for a slightly more premium product. So enormous appeal across a large number of segments. And the last chart, which is honestly my favorite thought exercise we ran, was to go ask people to imagine a world in which there were 6 ships tied up to a pier, and they were all the same ship, built in the same yard on the same day with the same floor plan. They have the same crew on them. They're going to the same ports of call for the same itinerary, and it costs you the same amount of money to get on that ship. The only difference is the name that's painted on the funnel. Now, pick a ship. More people in that hypothetical picked the Virgin ship than any other ship. Disney came in second, as you'd expect. It's a great product with an enormous reputation in the industry, but we beat every brand on a blinded basis. More people were interested in Virgin than any other brand. Add all that together, we know that there is enormous receptivity for the product in the market. We know there's an unmet customer need, and we feel like we've built the product to go meet that. We could skip one more forward. Yeah, we're going to need a bigger boat. COVID happened, and all of us were a little bit bitten by the shark, so to speak, or at least shocked at the size of the shark that came for all of us. And you saw an industry retrench to go effectively build a bigger boat for stability, raise a lot of capital, as you've seen headlines around Royal, Norwegian, and Carnival doing. We ourselves have been buttressing our balance sheet and reinforcing our commitments to the equity stack here to make sure that the business has the resources it needs to weather the storm and get through to the other side. And I'm very proud of the way Tom and the team have managed this to make sure that our business is being both responsible and well capitalized for the future. And we've done our part to shore up our boat because the fight, we understand, is very real. But we're very optimistic about that fight. Why? Flash forward one more slide. 2 reasons. One is if you study crises, and this is our attempt to look at all of the major travel and leisure crises in the world in the last decade, cruises perform remarkably well through moments of shock and crisis. Whether it be the Mumbai hotel attack, September 11th on airlines, the global financial crisis, no matter what the shock, there's a lot of industries that frankly don't recover. And there's a lot of industries that experience enormous compression in price, peak to trough, enormous compression in profits, enormous compression in yields. Cruises is not one of those. Like I said, it's relatively resilient. People don't go crazy. We don't sell the product for free. We don't tank the economics of the industry. We behave rationally. We behave in a disciplined way as an industry, and we allow the business to recover faster than nearly any other travel analog out there. That gives us extreme conviction that while we're facing an unprecedented crisis right now, a moment the industry has never seen before, it has seen enormous challenges, and it has recovered, and it will do so again. In fact, if we flip one slide forward, we can go ask our customers today what they think, which we did. In the depth of COVID, we went and asked people, how do you feel about an activity? Would you go do it today? Would you go do it if we could test you before you did the activity? Would you go do it if there was a vaccine or a treatment, or are you just fundamentally skeptical? And what you find is that 60% of cruisers, 55% of cruisers tell you that they would get on a ship today if they could. Knowing what they know, taking the risks that they're taking, they would get on a ship today if they were allowed to by the US government. That is an enormous validation of the product. In fact, more people would do that today than would take a leisure flight. More people would do that today than would sit down at a restaurant. More people would do that today than would go to a concert or a live sporting event. And that speaks to the enormous resiliency of cruising. The enormous resiliency of cruising, that we have this dedicated base of customers who is really hungry to get back to the product. And of course, as we move through the virus progression, as we develop wide-scale testing, as we get toward treatment regimes and vaccines, we're going to recapture the entire customer base. There's surely some fear in these respondents, but over time, this data is tracking very consistent. People are ready to go cruising again. They're excited for this product, and they will come back to this industry because it's a product they fundamentally love. We can skip one more slide forward. I think getting them to come back, getting them to be a part of that return is about transparency, confidence, and leadership. It's about communicating honestly with your customers. It's about doing everything you can to be empathetic with your customers, to put yourself in their shoes, to worry about what they will worry about, to think about what will be on their minds, and to try and deliver the very best vacation experience you can to them. And I'm extremely proud of the team at Voyages for all of the work they've done to think about those protocols, to think about those policies, and to try and design an experience whenever we get to sail again that is unlike anything else from a consumer experience. And in the breakouts that are going to come, the team will take you through the Voyage Well plan and the elements of how we can work to deliver a safer experience to our consumer. But please know that it is a laser-focused priority of every one of us associated with the Virgin Voyages. Treat our customers well, put ourselves in their shoes, and give them the confidence and transparency they need to succeed. If you look at what the CDC has said about the industry, which is a little bit tough, they have called out Virgin by exception a couple of times for having one of the best thought out plans in the business. We take extraordinary pride in that. If we could skip one more slide forward, I will tell you that just as the team is committed to the customer, we are committed to the team, we Bain Capital. We've been on this journey, as Tom said, for 6.5 years together of building a business. We're building 4 ships at the moment, of which we've taken delivery of 1. We are early in this journey, and we are committed to going the distance. The business plan is robust. It was built to incorporate shocks because shocks happen. It's built to incorporate flexibility, and it's built to incorporate resilience. And so we, Bain Capital, and all the shareholders of Virgin Voyages have continued to affirm our economic commitment to the business to see it through this period. We're humbled that pretty much all of our partners in the ecosystem are equally aligned in supporting the business and seeing it through to the other side. And we're extremely confident that no matter whatever comes next, and there is a wide range of scenarios that come in the near future, we can withstand those, weather those, and sail again confidently on the other side. We also at Bain Capital are pretty committed to Virgin. We like the brand. We think customers get and appreciate the brand and that it stands for some uniquely special experiences. And you may have read in the paper that just a couple of weeks ago, we doubled down on our relationship with Virgin by acquiring Virgin Australia, the #2 airline in Australia. We're very excited about that. It's about $1 billion transaction that's designed to really make sure that brand has the robust place in that market that it's enjoyed for the last 15 years going forward. But a clear sign of our commitment both to Virgin as well as to Voyages. So we skip one more forward. Let me end on a bright note. My grandmother always told me that the darkest hour comes before the dawn. And I think we are sitting on the precipice of a pretty amazing dawn at Virgin Voyages. We've built a beautiful product. We have thought about the customer journey at every step in that product, and I think delivered something the market has not seen, but will recognize instantly as familiar, doesn't know, but will recognize instantly as revolutionary, and doesn't yet know that they love, but will fall in love with it immediately. I surely did. I think everyone on the team who's had a chance to experience the product has. And if you've had the chance to experience the product, I think you appreciate what I'm talking about. We are confident we'll get back on the Scarlet Lady. We'll go to some amazing places. We'll have some amazing times together, and that there are truly bright spots ahead in our future. We thank you for all of your support. We thank you for all of your patience. We empathize with the difficulties we're all facing at the moment and are here to help in any way we can. But please do know your customers love cruising. Your customers will cruise again, and they're pretty excited to do it with us at Virgin. So thank you for all of your support and partnership on this journey. Appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today. And let me now turn it back to the team to talk about the breakout sessions and how you can learn more about our Voyage Well promise.
Thank you so much, Ryan. That was very insightful. So now we're going to go and we're going to head into our breakout sessions. We have 2 breakouts, each with 3 sessions going on simultaneously. You're welcome to go into whatever session you want and check them all out. We will be sending a recording of all the breakouts tomorrow. So if you miss any, you'll have a chance to catch up. To access the next session, you're just going to scroll down from this page and click on the Explore More Sessions. This will bring you to a new window, so make sure your browser allows pop-ups. You'll be directed to the Boomvang homepage, and you're just going to scroll down to the section with the first breakout sessions starting right after this. If you're having any difficulties at all, we are living in a tech world, so just feel free to refresh the page. That's always a good start. And at the end of the first breakout, there's going to be a small poll for you to fill out for a chance to be entered into a prize giveaway. Once you fill out that poll, you'll scroll to find the Explore More Sessions button to be brought back to the main page where you'll then pick your second breakout session. Enjoy the breakouts, First Mates, and I'll be back with you to introduce our thought leader, Vic Whitehouse.